Hello, this is Gary.
Hi, Gary. It's Mercury here again from Greece.
How's it going?
Hello.
You okay? Can you hear me?
I'm doing fine. How are
Oh,
you?
doing good.
Yeah, I hear you loud
Oh,
and clear.
awesome. That's good. All the way from Sweden. How's the weather over there?
It's pretty hot actually. Got some rain today, but really it's middle of the summer, so it's getting warmer over here. You know, it's warmer every year almost. So
Oh yeah,
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 yeah, it's nice, but it's hot. My
yeah.
apartment is like a sauna. It's
Right.
nice. So how's the weather over there?
Well, I'm in Alabama, so it's pretty hot in the South. It's like we're hitting
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
100 degrees like every day. It's one of those kind of things. Yeah, humidity's rough, pretty rough.
Cool.
Um. All
Yeah,
right.
right.
So let's get started. Okay. Now,
Yeah,
you got a brand new
shoot.
album coming out on July 15th with the band
Yeah,
Priest, and it's called Body Machine. How excited are you for a brand new album?
it's 100% excited because it's been a little delayed and everything, and now it's finally time for the release next week, July 15th. And we're both very excited to show it to the world. And it contains hard hitting drum machines and heavy bass lines and, also melody driven tracks. So it's something in there for everyone and give it a listen. It's a darker side of the electronic pop music, and we're gonna love it.
Awesome. Um, and I was reading that your single, the Signal in the Noise, is being used in a trailer for an upcoming Mel Gibson movie. How cool is that?
Uh, that's also 100% super cool, and I still have to, pinch my arm and see, if it's true or not, because it's like, yeah, have your music playing in a movie with Mel Gibson, and it's a Hollywood production, big one, what can you say? We're stoked about it. We're super proud, and it's once in a lifetime. It's very cool, and we just can't believe it. Go see it. I think it's called Hot Seat, and it's out July 1st. I think it's running in theaters in the US right now. So give
Awesome.
it a watch if you have the possibility.
So how did Mel Gibson how did that come to be? Getting the song and everything.
I think Cleopatra Records would be signed with last year. They are based in Hollywood. So the opportunity came up, and we discussed it and looked at the movie, and so that it's a kind of cyber thriller with hackers and stuff that goes in line with what we're doing because we like cyberpunk and have that theme in our lyrics and stuff. So that's a perfect match. But to be honest, I was already sold when they said Mel Gibson, so I would have said yes then. But I think I'm into it, but it seems to be a really cool movie with a great concept in it, and it looks superb as you see in the trailer. So I'm still to see it when it comes, when it's possible here in Sweden.
Oh yeah. Um, yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Well,
Yeah,
I've been listening to the songs from the upcoming album, and it reminds me of '80s music. But I've been hearing people say like, I guess Depeche Mode or Nine Inch Nails or something like that. Would you say that
yeah,
that's accurate?
yeah. It's perfect. It's one of the two biggest influences, and we use old synthesizers from the 80s. When we get a hold of them, we borrow them, or we don't we can't afford to buy them yet, but we borrow from friends and explore the old sound. But we use newer equipment, like, and of course Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails is a master of using synthesizers and have it suggest this darker narrative in his lyric themes and everything. So thank you for hearing the. Yeah, you can clearly hear what we're coming from. So thank you for recognizing.
Oh yeah, no problem. So, and I know that in the past, I know you're coming from another band, the Grammy award-winning band called
Yeah,
Ghost. So how did you go from Ghost to Priest?
I actually long before those, I was I, I'm familiar with doing electronic music because my dad has like Atari computers and sound modules at home. So I was just fiddling around with that equipment when I was younger. So I had pretty good foundation in electronic music. But I played bass in Ghost and for 1.5, almost 2 years. And so, and after that, it was time to do something else. So I picked up my old dream to form an electronic band and mixed it up with the fun theatrical style that Ghost had, like a full-on concept band. And because that was so fun, I didn't want to quit that. I had like withdrawal issues from being a theatrical band, so I decided to continue.
Right.
And on that road, still on. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. I thought it was going to be a suicide mission at first, but it turned out to work pretty well, and I'm very proud of that I did those decisions back then.
So would you say that you're more comfortable in that setting in this kind of music than you were previously, or what do you think?
To be honest, I am, because this is more my home turf, and yeah. But it's I played in metal rock bands also before, so it's both. It's two different ways. Like I'm a bass player, so for many years. So um, I like playing bass, and those was a fun band to play bass in. So that was fun, but it's more satisfying on many more levels to be intrigued. Because then I can write lyrics, I can compose,
Right.
Be involved in music videos. You can do all the stuff, designing. It satisfies on many more levels of it. So therefore, I'm more happy in this project than I was in those where I only played bass.
Right. And you were talking about the videos. So how did you get up? How did you get the idea for the a signal and the noise video? That's a pretty cool video.
Yeah, thanks. It's a low budget video. As you can see, I actually bought a very cheap camera and thought I'm gonna film this myself, which I did. Okay, spoiled my name maybe, but it's a dystopian, futuristic feel in the song that I wanted to get in the video. So I think the stylistic choice of having a low budget with a cheap camera, it fits well with this song. It's an urban feel, like it's gonna be a little twisty, a little. Then we have some cool computer effects in there, which you can see.
Yeah.
It's morphing stuff, and you can little old school video effects in there. I think it goes very well with what I had in my head when I wrote the song. So it's I'm very proud of that. Even if it's not a high production value video, you can see something in there. And if I get more money to make a video myself, I'm gonna expand on those themes on future videos, which I'm gonna try to direct more myself in the future.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And as far as the song goes, and like for this album, how did y'all come up with the ideas for the songs, and what was the recording processes like for this album?
It was mostly demos, I wrote bass lines and song structures. I mostly write on guitar or piano, but also on this album I wrote more on the computer, like do the bass lines, on the computer, and then we take it to the studio and work with the producer, and maybe he does some additional composing, so he's also a songwriter in the band, we can say. And we take it from there. Then we see what needs to be done. If you need to change something, maybe a chorus doesn't hold up as good, so I write a new chorus for one song, or change the lyrics here and there. Then we mold it slowly into the finished product. But we're working pretty fast, actually. I think it's a good flow in the studio, and I think we learned how work pretty effectively now. So we can work pretty fast as well. And that's fun too, because then you make better decisions. Because if you listen to something too much and over again, then your ears getting numb.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what's good or not anymore. So I think a fast-paced working would suit me well, or us well. Whilst I know other people want to take their time a little more, I think it's nice with that faster working pace. And the lyrical themes is a little darker, and it's of course heavy science fiction inspired,
Right.
and movies and comics and literature, and combined with personal stuff. So we try to have a good blend in there that can be generic and that everybody can take to their heart, but still a little edgy sometimes. And I like that. It's gonna have to be a little dangerous as well.
Yeah.
So we try to paint the canvas of a dystopian future.
Right. And also, like when you're recording, what you were talking about it, but how much input do you have as far as like when you're recording and you go back? How much input do you have as the overall production of the songs and the way it sounds? I mean, do you have it? Do you go back and listen and go, I want it more, like this, or more of a different sound? How much input do you have there?
Yeah, sometimes you just write the song and you just take choices in the studio without maybe knowing why you do it, like subconscious level. So that's mostly how we do it. But sometimes when we get stuck, then maybe we do some reference listening. Maybe, let's listen to this track by Portishead, or listen to this Depeche Mode track, or then we can start working again. Then we get the inspiration we need to continue the work in the studio. But it's almost only when we get stuck that we start to listen to the older stuff, or how other people do it. We try to do it as much ourselves as we can, but you're always going to be inspired and get influenced by other bands, of course.
Right. Um, and I was noticing like this song, "Techno Girl." Now, to me, that sounds more like of an '80s song than maybe most of the other songs, and it's like a brighter. I know y'all have like a darker sound, but this was like a brighter song. Why was that song so bright, so to speak?
Yeah, it started with the bass line, and I think the song could have gone be a darker song with if you only listen to the bass line and like the melody, the down, 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 down.
Right.
But I think the chorus, we tried like 5, 6, 7 different choruses in that song, and nothing really worked. But then we experimented a bit and came up with I think very catchy but a little corny chorus that we have now, and it just stuck with us and couldn't get it out of our heads. So, and if it's an earworm, it's an earworm, and then you keep it. So that's it's an experimental song. We had a bunch of fun with it. We're proud of it, and especially the video for it. So it's I think works in its own way, but it's a result of having fun and experimenting in the studio, basically.
Right. Um, And in this album, what would you say? Uh, how have you evolved in between albums? Do you think this album, is better, one of your better albums, or how do you think? Of course, you're going to say that, right? If it's your new album, but I mean, how have you
Yeah,
changed
of
from
course.
album to album?
I think first album we had a lot of to prove, and we took on more time and effort, and it was more anxiety, filled with anxiety. If you're gonna release something, the first release, it's filled with feelings and emotions, and it wasn't easy to work. You had a high expectation on yourself and on others, but that's what the results came out very good. So I'm very proud of that. But then we did the second album, and that was during the Corona, so we had a little mellower feel to it. It was some other changes in the band. So it was a really shaky times in the band. We didn't know if it was going to continue actually. So,
Right.
but we gave it a try, and that was the second album, Cyberhead. And but now we feel like we got the confidence 110% back, and now we're gonna show you a high octane album with great tunes. Yeah, so we're stoked about it, and I think it's holding up to. It's more close to the first album than the second one, but it's still some pocket tunes in there. But it's our heaviest album to date, and that's I think we want to continue on that route, to get a little heavier,
Right.
and more beat and bass driven. So I'm stoked about the direction we're taking on Body Machine.
Right. And what kind of reaction have you got from the fans so far from your songs?
Only positive. I haven't even seen something negative about it from the fans. I think they don't. It's three diverse singles we released, so they sound very different from each other. So people, I don't think they know what to expect from the album, and it's gonna be a diverse album. I think they're gonna love it. I hope so. And speaking for myself, I still can, I enjoy it, and
Yeah.
and I've heard it for a thousand of times, and still enjoy it.
Right.
So it's gonna be something in there that you gonna like, 'Cause I think listening over and over again, that's the final judge. That's the judge you have. If you can listen to something for hours, like
Right.
old Nintendo music or whatever.
Yeah.
It,
Exactly.
that's the test of quality in some ways. I think. 'Cause otherwise, you're gonna want to turn it off. And I think Body Machine is the melodies and the songs are they're gonna be there, and I think we did a good job, and I'm super proud and excited about it.
And you got a new song just released called "Blacklisted." Now, how that song come to be?
Yeah, it was a heavy bass line that our producer actually wrote. We wrote some different bass lines, and I thought we could do a pretty good song out of it. And I think the lyrics is you can recognize. Everybody can recognize themselves, and the lyrics have probably been excluded sometime from something, or whether if you were young or older, and it's pretty common term in showbiz that you get blacklisted as well. So it's like it's I know my own reality in that song actually, but I want and I think everybody can find something true in there. So I like the lyrics, and I think they explain a lot.
Right. Yeah, and I think a lot of times songs mean different things to different people. It might be a little bit different for this person than it is for that person, right?
Yeah. I think that songwriting, lyric writing is when it's generic and you don't write anybody telling them what to feel or think. It's think give you some clues, but it's your experience, not necessarily as a songwriter that you have to, you know. I'm just trying to communicate here, not telling you what to think. You know,
Right.
it's a dialogue.
And yeah, I was thinking, if you were to come out with a solo album, you could call it Mercury Rising or something like that. Right? No, just
Yeah. Oh,
just throwing that out
that's
there.
good. That's good.
No, but
Thank you. I keep that one. Keep that one.
oh yeah. Um, and so you got some of the guys from your other band from Ghost, right, in this band and helping you out too, right?
Yeah, the former keyboard player is I think Keith and Chris as well, and of course the producer Simon Söderberg was the lead guitarist in Ghost from the start up until 2016. So practically we have with three former Ghost members working currently now on increased, you can say. Yeah.
That's cool, and I guess a lot of those fans from that band will come over here and say, "Hey, I like these guys," right? And you'll have more fans that way, right?
Yeah, so that's how it is. And if you can get a few extra more heads into the venue, you know, when you have a gig, it helps, and then we can convert those to the right side of the bright side of the moon.
Right, right, right. Um, and as far as like when you're writing songs and things like that, do you have to be in a certain mood whenever you're writing songs, or if the atmosphere does it have to be just right, or I know you're talking about being stuck sometimes, but what kind of gets you in the mood for creating and things like that?
Yeah. I think but yeah, I when I write lyrics, I have a place in Stockholm where I go a certain place that I can. It's a bar that's like a living room, and it's not super crowded, and they don't play loud music. So you can basically sit in a corner with your computer or paper and write your lyrics undisturbed for hours, and that's that's a great place. And write most of my lyrics at that place. But music-wise, I think it's just a matter of sitting down and deciding to do it. Now I'm gonna sit down and do
Right,
a great bass line,
right,
and I'm not gonna get up until I have a great bass line in the can, you know. So that's and if I sit down with the guitar, I think I have to come up with a good melody at least. Otherwise, uh, I'm just gonna, you know. Of course, it doesn't always work, but that's the intention, you know.
yeah,
And I record everything. And sometimes you backtrack when you're recording from the phone and you go, oh, that was quite good. Okay, let's use that. How does that translate into electronics, you know? I think it's a matter of collecting and just sit down and do it over and over again and decide that you just, now it's time to do it.
right,
And take decision making. And because writing a song is make a lot of decisions. Yeah, okay, this is going to be the chord.
right,
Okay, this is going to be the melody. Will I use that in that note there? Okay, I decide to use that note. I decide to do that. Okay, I decide that the chorus will start with this chord.
right,
Right. So it's and you know it can turn a song can turn out in a million different ways. You know, but you have to get it finished. You have to make the decisions. You know, and
that's right.
yeah, it's it can be hard sometimes, but it's fun. It's like laying down a puzzle or like playing a game. getting down a game of Sudoku, like getting all the numbers right,
Yeah, right.
or something like that.
Do you ever go back and like you record everything, right? Do you ever go back and find something, or is there something in your mind that's been around for years, and you finally maybe like on this album, did you go, I think I'll use that on this album? Is there a song like that on there?
Mm, yeah, it's so fun. I have a one earlier example of a really long, you know, thing. It's a song called Obey, but I wrote the basic structure for the song with the bass line and everything. I wrote that must have been back in 2008 or 2009, and it was released in 2019.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it was like a 10-year song that I recorded 10 years ago, a demo on, and then finally it got released after some restructuring. But I think there's a song called Phantom Pain on Body Machine, which was written 5-6 years ago or something. But there is one song called Crystalline Lace. And that was actually, I wrote that for a student movie. The melody you hear in it, then we restructured it, and Simon was in writing on it as well. But the that part was written for a student movie back in 2008. 2009, 2008. Oh, earlier. Yeah, 2008.
Wow.
So that's probably a 15-year-old tune that I wrote 15 years ago that we finally used in this album. So it's funny because it's like you're working with yourself over time, but it's another person, that you're looking back to. And I've probably got thousands of songs, ideas for songs. And as most songwriters after a couple of years do. So, but now it's just how do I catalog it? I don't catalog it. I just have a large bunch of files with no names on them. So
right.
which I can't plow through. So I gotta be like I did one song. I wrote one song called "Call My Name" on the first album on the Flesh. I just found that one on an old Tascam recorder which I had.
Oh wow!
Like I listened to it. It was just sounds, and then I just, what the fuck is this? And I just sat down with a guitar, and that was that song, And then okay, let's do something with this. I don't know how old that recording was, but just record everything. I think that's good, because then you can backtrack, listen to it, see if it's any good. If it still gives you something after you listen to it the next day, then it's probably worth expanding on.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess that's always good to record everything, because I think a lot of times you forget stuff. Sometimes you think of something and you go, man, what was that? You don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I thought like that when I was younger. Of course, the brain is like a fucking sponge when you're younger, so
yeah.
You remember a lot more stuff. So
Sure.
But getting a little older, you can't rely on that memory. And I don't know how many hits I lost because I was too tired to get up from the bed and start the recording device, or didn't have it close by. Now,
right.
Fortunately, there is no excuses anymore.
Right.
With the phones, you always have a good recording device on you in your pocket.
Sure.
So you can always bring it up, and you can always lay down an idea, even if it's your like doing something like that so you can always there's actually no excuses anymore. It was before, but now it's you can get down all your ideas, hopefully.
Sure.
But I think I'm gonna remember stuff as well, even today, and I don't. I just every time I do that, I just no, I should have recorded it. Like, oh man,
right.
Now it's lost.
Right.
I lost it again.
Yeah. Right.
Like this. And even if the simplest thing, you think it's so simple, it's three notes and four chords, and I always gonna remember this. It's a masterpiece. Then you next day you're like, oh, it's gone.
And somebody
So record it.
somebody somewhere else comes out with a song. You go, I wrote that song. The idea popped
Yeah,
in their brain.
it
If you
flew. It's like exactly. It flew away and got
flew away and
into
got
their head instead. Yeah,
um, or
exactly.
do you um what was I going to say? Oh yeah, do you like when you're recording songs and you're coming up with ideas and stuff like that? Do you ever purposely try to stay away from stuff that sounds similar? Because some bands you like, yep, that's their trademark, like ACDC or something. You're like, that's that same kind of a sound.
Uh,
You try not to be so, you got a certain sound, but you try not to copy like a little run or a little bass line or some kind of lyrics.
yeah, I think with that kind of band, I know it's like we're not one trick pony where we're like one every song is their own pony.
Yeah.
but it's sometimes I think we in the future you can't just really we love a lot of different genres, and
Yeah.
we have we have a strong visual concept, and if you have a strong visual concept, you get away with more diverse sounds on the songs. I think I used to use the example of The Cure when you see Robert Smith's hairdo and his lipstick. That's the image, right? And they get away with like 8 minute goth songs
Yeah.
in minor scale, but they can also do a 2.5 minute pop song in major scale, which is
Right.
super happy. So
Right.
it's like they can be super diverse, but I think without a strong image, that can be then you don't know what to focus on. If you're just standing there with jeans and t-shirts and
Right.
every song is sounding like a new song, then it's not going to be something to anchor it. But if you have a strong visual image, it's like a big fat anchor that allows you to be more diverse in your expression, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, well, let me rewind uh, back and ask you this now. Try to remember. You didn't record
Mm-hmm.
this, but when you were younger, what made you get into the music in the first place?
Both my parents were musicians. Um, my dad always did music afterwards as well, so and always listening to music, and we always had instruments at home. So even if I wasn't aiming for being a musician, it was always around. But I started to play bass when I was 14 in a band, and after that, I thought it was so fun. So I always been in different kind of bands since then. Basically, I never quit. I never been out of band.
Yeah.
Always been in a band.
Right.
Uh, it's a fun way of communicating, and it's just fun. And so I always had like a driving force that I want to make it, in the music industry or whatever. But that's I still got that, but it's not as strong as it was when I was 20. So I'm more relaxed in that, and just trying to have fun and make music
Yeah.
that I like, and try to do something that means something to me and hopefully to other people as well.
I think that's what it's all about, right? And I know times
Yeah,
change. I know uh, as far as getting paid, like back in the day when you're selling albums, I know albums would sell a
yeah,
ton, but you don't make as much money now, so you gotta love what you're doing, right? It's not like you're making what you used to, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm trying to entertain myself, and of course, it's like when you think about what's the alternative.
Yeah.
I get scared, I can't quit this. I need to continue.
Well,
uh,
that's
so I will probably always do something like this, even if it's just on hobby level or if it's an arena level. I don't care. I'm always gonna do something.
and talking about a bass player though, and I play guitar and bass, and bands always need a bass player. So it's like that's a go-to
Yeah,
thing, right? We need a bass player. Were you that guy? We need a bass player.
yeah,
You call him up.
yeah. Uh, exactly. It's like if you're the bass player, then yeah, always some yeah. Because most bass players are like the guitarist that wasn't as good as the other two guitarists in the band. So you reduced to playing the bass. But I actually love. Uh, it doesn't have to be like that, But I love
Yeah.
playing the bass, and I couldn't play guitar first. Yeah, I was a bass player first, and I learned to play guitar after.
Right.
Because it was a necessity to write songs. Basically, I couldn't write songs without being able to play a harmonic instrument like a guitar. So
Yeah.
that's what. That was the only reason I learned to play guitar was to be able to write
Yeah.
pop songs at the time. So,
Well, that's what people need to understand, though, is about bass players and or the bass in general. Until I started playing the bass, I didn't really appreciate the bass as much, and then I'm like, that's like the main instrument in the song, and people don't really think about it, but that and the drums, man, right? That,
that's the rhythm section, and
that's it.
I think the bass is even more interesting because you must have the rhythm, the you know the groove or whatever, funk, and also the melodic part of it. So you have best you're the connection between the harmonics and the rhythm. I think it's a fun instrument. Uh, Speaking of it, I'm looking at my bass right now, and now I see how long it was ago it was I picked it up and actually played on it. So I'm I'm gonna give it some love tonight,
Yeah.
maybe.
There you go. You need to. Um,
Yeah,
so tell me about what kind of shows you got lined up coming up soon.
yeah, we're gonna go out on a fairly good run with Combi Christ uh, very soon in July here until August, and directly after that we're gonna do a Scandinavian run with Frontline Assembly and Eclipse to support them on a couple of shows. And hopefully, if everything goes as we want it to, we coming to the States later this year in October. But we're not there yet. We have some paperwork left, but we're optimistic and it looks good. So I can't tell you. I can't give you a confirmation yet, but 90% chance that we come over
Awesome.
in October for the first time with Priest. So I'm just fingers crossed here and just hoping for the best.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Well, it was great
Yeah.
talking to you, and I wish all the best for you for the new album. And fans can pick it up on the
Thank you,
15th.
Gary.
Yes, and thanks so much, Mercury. Um, and it's
Thank you.
good, great stuff. I've been jamming to it. I really love the '80s sound. I gotta say, but I'll be
Awesome.
telling everybody all about it. And I appreciate you talking to me, and all the best to you, man.
Uh, yeah, appreciate talking to you too, Gary. And yeah, had a great time. And take care now. And hopefully we talk soon again.
Sure, we'll do it again, man. Thanks a lot.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
all right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.